Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to the studio. Who's ready to do another acrylic pour painting with me tonight? Today, this morning, whatever time of day it is. I'm painting at night, but the video is going live in the morning. Who cares? I'm sure you don't. Anyway, I'm doing a Dutch pour with some of the prettiest colors I have used in a long time. Aren't these just the most beautiful colors you've ever seen? I can't wait. So I'm doing a Dutch pour. This is a 16 by 20 inch canvas. I'm just testing. It's a little loose. I might need to spray the back of that. 16 by 20 canvas. I'm doing a split base Dutch pour. So black on this side, white on this side, and all these colors as a Dutch pour flow through the middle. So let me just spray the back of my canvas really quick. I have a video on this. You can spray or just rub water on the back of your canvas to help tighten it up. You can do this before you paint. You can do it after you paint, after you varnish. I want to make sure that this canvas is nice and taut so that the paint doesn't kind of go to the center and form a big pool there. I want to make sure that it can spread. I also have these little shims in the corners that this canvas came with. And I thought it was tight enough, but I think adding the water is gonna make it tight enough. Yeah, it's already starting to tighten up. Sometimes you need to spray it and let it dry and then it'll just be tighter. And sometimes just being damp makes it tighter because the canvas fibers swell. So depending on the canvas that you have and what you need it for, you may find that you apply water differently. But anyway, there we go. Let me tell you what my colors are. So my base colors are both Creative Inspirations paint. This is titanium white. So it's a very thin consistency. It is not quite watery. It's like melted ice cream, is what I've heard some people describe it as. Where it's like it feels just a little bit more solid than water, but it flows very, very nicely. It makes just the tiniest trail when you drizzle it into your cup. Okay, so then my other colors here, this is from Master's Touch Acrylics. This is Rouge. Beautiful color. Here's another Master's Touch Acrylics. This is purple. I think I was in Hobby Lobby buying canvases when they have them on sale every other week, and I just had to grab those two colors. All right, this is Creative Inspirations Sky Blue. Beautiful. This is Master's Touch Ocean Green. I've used this in some of my waves. It is just an amazing kind of mint turquoise. And then this is Brilliant Yellow Green from Blick Studio Acrylics. And this one might be mixed a little bit thicker than the rest. When I did my drip test, it was too thin, so I thickened it up a little bit. And I think because it's such a light color and it's semi-transparent, having it a little bit thicker to help stand up against the other colors won't be a bad thing. And then I have Creative Inspirations Metallic Gold. This looks quite warm. It just dries bright and shiny and beautiful. So I love this metallic gold. Okay, and yes, I mentioned a drip test. So this is my drip test, and you can click this link that is popping up right up here in this corner if you want to see how I do a drip test and what that helps me know what to do. In this case, this color needed a little bit more water, and this one was too thin. It flowed there way too fast. All right. So, got our drip test, we've got our colors. My hair dryer is this little mini one from MHU. I am loving this because it's a lot easier to control the flow. So I'm excited to use that on a big Dutch pour. I'm ready to go, are you? Let's make a painting. All right, so as you can see, I've already painted with a brush the sides where the black base is going to be, because I don't think it'll cover it all the way otherwise. So I'm just going to start by laying out my base colors, and then I will add the rest of the colors. All right, let's blow this out and see if I need any more. Okay, so my black paint is slightly thinner than I was anticipating, which is kind of what I was going for because I wanted the black a little bit thicker than the white to make sure that it didn't swallow up the other colors. So it's definitely moving easily enough. It just felt a little thicker than I was expecting. So we'll see how the white is. But first, let me cover the sides. All right, let's add the white now. This also feels just slightly thicker than I was expecting, which is fine. You know, you work with what you have. It is still definitely thin enough that it'll flow. But maybe I should have made it just a little bit more watery. Just a little bit more in a couple of spots. All right, let me cover the sides with the white, and then we'll torch it and get going. All right, sides are covered. Paint is down. Let me go ahead and torch this to pop these air bubbles, because there are a lot of air bubbles. I mixed it a little bit too soon before I painted. I'm even going to torch the sides because I see air bubbles there. Alrighty, let's lay down the colors. So I'm going to start with this Rouge. It is quite dark, which means I think it's going to look beautiful as it flows over the white, and it might kind of disappear as it goes over the black. But nice. Let's do ocean green. So I forgot to mention earlier, all of my paint is mixed just with water. This is a paint and water Dutch pour. If you want to see how I mix my tube paints with water, you can click this link that's popping up right here in the corner. These colors remind me of royalty. So that's kind of the theme of this Dutch pour. These colors are looking kind of crazy. I hope they play well together. Okay, some gold on the top. Now I forgot, I gotta think about whether I want any branching pieces. I think I'm just gonna do a single band with, you know, small branches that come out instead of, you know, like a three-way split. All right, I will add a little bit of white here into the band of color, especially over along where it touches the black, because I want to make sure that there's plenty of brightness in that color flow, especially as it crosses over into the black negative space. It is so hard to tell what's going to be a prominent color here. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of the ocean green because I just love it, and a little bit more of the gold, and then we'll go for it. All right, this is so exciting. It's been a while since I've done a Dutch pour. So I'm going to be going, for the most part, up. I'm going to start going this way down, and then I'm going to move up. First look at the color blend. It's really cool. We got some black sneaking in, which is making some gray, but I think it'll be all right. Wow, I've got amazing cell reactions coming up. This is fantastic. Ah, brilliant. All right, let me keep it going on up. Wow, look at the purples and stuff popping up from under the black. This is really pretty. So my personal tendency in Dutch pours is to completely overwork it. I go in and I tweak here and I tweak there, and I like mess up all the beautiful simple shapes that I created right from the start. So I'm going to try not to do that today. But I do want to add just a little bit. I don't know what I want to do. There are a couple places that I want to tweak. Just blowing by mouth. I'm not going to do the hairdryer anymore. This one right here, I just want to extend it, soften it slightly into the white. All right, well, what was I just saying about I tweak too much and it gets messed up? Let me see what I can do just by sort of manipulating the paint here. See, the thing is, this section looks muddy. It isn't, but the purple is prominent and the purple is kind of a gray color. So I think what I'm going to do, what I want is just definition here. So I'm going to take a palette knife and just scoop up some of this part that I don't love. And I'll fix it. And now what do I need here? What is it calling for? I think it needs a little bit of this rouge and a little bit of gold. That should make it pop. And maybe some of this green also. And why not just a few drops of white? Okay. I'm going to use my hairdryer for this and just carefully skim in. Actually, let me soften first. Okay. Here we go. Look at that, so much better. So much better. I will torch to see if I can draw up some cells, and then I'll give you a close-up. All right, this is beautiful. This is whimsical and stunning, and let me give you a close-up. All right, let's start down here. Look at those beautiful cells, even on the end. Love this little twist here as it folds in and then bursts up. All right, so here's the part that I fixed. It ended up with so much more cell reaction. So even though the shape isn't exactly what I would have wanted, it's a lot better than it was. I love this where it sneaks into the black. And then that's amazing. Look at that. Look at those little cells that popped up. And then this top swoop is just gorgeous. So all of this cell reaction came, I believe, just from my brands of paint interacting with each other. I have found that Master's Touch Acrylics and Creative Inspirations together make some really great cells. Now I will point out right here, you see all these little white specks? That is because my white paint had too many air bubbles in it and I didn't torch it well enough before I painted. I don't mind the look, but if you're trying to not have those specks, just make sure that your paint is as free from air bubbles as possible, or that you torch it really, really well multiple times before you add your design. All right, I love this. Let me show you what it looks like when it's dry. All right, I'm back. The painting is all dry. It's been dry for a few days, so the paint is totally dry to the touch. It dried wonderfully. You can see some of that gold shimmer in there. So now it's time. I've decided on the embellishment that I'm going to add around the side. I'm going to add a gold border inset from the edge. I think that's really going to make it stand out. and accentuate the classic black and white background and just make it look really regal and, you know, fancy. So I've got a ruler here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put blue tape down along the edges of my border so that I can brush paint it on and get a nice clean line. So let me add the lines. All right, so I've got my double-sided blue tape border, and then this line here is where I'm going to be adding the gold. So I've got my Creative Inspirations gold, which is the same gold that I've used here in the pour. So I'm just going to put some of that into a little paint tray and brush that on with a brush. So these two places where it goes off here and here and here, I am going to have the gold line appear to be passing behind that, so it's going to look three-dimensional, and there will be just a couple pockets where the gold will poke up through the design. But for the most part, it's going to be behind the blown-out sections. So I went ahead and added a second coat of the gold paint because the first brush coat, it didn't look like it was going to cover it completely. So I added a second coat, and I think it's looking great now. So it's time to peel up the tape. Oh, that looks so good! It is possible that I'll need to use a brush and just touch up a couple areas to make the lines slightly cleaner, but let me show you how this looks. Dun da da da! It's all done! Look how beautiful that gold line is as it flows through and as the painting seems to flow right over it. So the tape came off very neatly. I really didn't have to do any brush cleanups of those lines. I touched up a bit of the color around just a few spots of the painting to really help the colors stand out, but this is completely done. I am totally in love with this. It totally has the feeling of royalty. It's very classic and elegant and beautiful. So thank you so much for joining me as I created it. I hope that this inspired you to try something new. Let me know down in the comments, have you ever done a Dutch pour? Have you done a split-based Dutch pour? Have you ever added embellishments like this gold border to make it look more interesting? I would love to hear what you have done and what you're planning on doing after watching this. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you again very soon for my next video. Bye!